welcome back to Oddies Angling TV. We're in session at Lyreen carp fishery in Kildare, which is really about 15 or 20 minutes from Dublin. This is a great fishery, but I'm in session here with Daniel O'Kelly, and we're just gonna have a chit chat. Dan's a long time angler. We've a couple of other videos up on the channel with Dan featuring in them now, and Dan is a co-proprietor of SixtySixWild, the guided tours in France. This chap, what he doesn't know about fishing isn't probably worth knowing. He's an all-round angler, fishes for carp predominantly, but he's also, once winter comes, a massive pike angler and fishes the big lakes over in the west of Ireland. Pike to 33, carp, Irish carp to 33.
32.
All right, look.
No, the pike is 32.
Pike's 32, carp's 33. You know, French fish are over. You've had a catfish to 94.
Yeah, a few 90s and 80s, yeah, on the carp gear. Not counting for them, but it's
Yeah.
good fun.
So I'm just going to run through, you know, your views on tackle, because let's face it, I mean, outside of catching carp, most carp anglers, we just love tackle, don't we? With tarps.
Yeah, most are, yeah. I'm quite
Not so
practical. I'll buy expensive gear, but I won't keep it shiny or bright or new, and it doesn't matter to me.
You're a workhorse kind of angler, you know.
Yeah.
You'll put everything that you own through its paces.
Yeah, I'll get
So
my
let's go
pound
through,
of flesh out of it.
I'm going to run through your setups, right? You use Fox alarms, yeah?
Fox alarms, yeah. I did have Delcoms and I got rid of them as quick as I could.
What did you not like about them?
A lot of things. They're just not as good, especially for pike fishing. They really don't work as well. Strong winds, winters, storms, they're not good. They'll have you awake all night.
Yeah.
Where the Fox, you can set the sensitivity a lot lower and you won't get as many beeps. Do we want to get into the Delcom and Fox argument?
Well, see, that's it. There's a whole Delcom following and the whole Fox following, and
yeah,
never the twain will meet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a never-ending civil war issue that
it is, isn't it?
It's not going to get sorted here today.
No. Look, to me, it's down to preference, and as long as the piece of item that you're using does what it's meant to do, then I don't really care what anybody uses, whether it's ATTs. I mean, I think I've owned pretty much every alarm on the market apart from Delks. Now, I've borrowed Mark's Delks, one of the mates of mine. And yeah, no, they're fine. I just don't like the fact that they warble at, you know, the most minute lift of a bobbin. It's like a full-blooded run.
Yeah, and a really slow run, which you can get when you're fishing distance for pike, they actually don't register.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. But so anyway, Fox alarms. You're using what model?
I'm using the RX at the minute. I've had the DXRs, the LXRs. When these give up the ghost, I'll go to the newer models, the NTXIs or NTXRs, whatever they are.
Yeah, because I have the NTXRs, and I have to say I love Fox alarms, always did. I've had issues with my NTXRs. I'm on my second set, kind of.
Yeah, there seems to have been some teething problems with them.
Shouldn't be at the price they're selling them.
They shouldn't, no.
But, you know,
I'll wait a few years till they sort that out and then I'll buy a set.
But I also know that one of the other guys on here, Anthony, he's a set and he's had a problem as well. After 6 months of solid use of not going wrong, they started to not latch up to the receiver. And
yeah, there's a few problems. There's been a few problems with them, yeah.
But it's electrical gear. It's always going to be a bit, you know. But I had ATTs and I didn't like the fact that the heads were silent, because if the receiver went down for any reason, you had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, there was Gordon has them. I don't particularly like them either.
No, no. I bought them and I tricked them all out and pimped them all out with, you know, different rollers and all the rest.
Yeah.
And I never used them, not once, and then sold them at a massive loss.
Yeah, the range is not particularly good on them for an alarm that has a silent head.
Yeah.
The range should probably be better. I've quite literally seen people go like swim away and
not pick it up. Yeah.
I always like to keep a bit of volume in the head I mean, sometimes we knock the receiver off, don't remember. Sometimes you walk to the next swim without your receiver, you just forget.
Yeah.
So having the heads with some volume in them. Not enough to wake everyone up around the lake, but just enough to let you know.
So what rods are you using? You're using
The Century NGs. I have them 10 years now. You can see they're well battered.
12 foot, 3.5 pound test curves.
That one's 3.5. The others are 2 3/4.
Oh.
For Ireland, I prefer the 2 3/4. I really don't think 3.5s are necessary here.
Why do you say that?
I've even in France, on Bourgogne, I even went down to 2 1/4. There was no snags, it was open water. It's no problem.
Right. So you're not a fan of these big rods? That...
No, I don't want pokers. Now, when I'm fishing the rivers in France or the big waters, I will go onto the 3.5s.
Yeah.
You're pulling in.
What about going up a foot in length? Do you think that makes any difference?
It can make a difference to your cast, all right. I have actually some 14-foot Century rods, which are beasts.
Good Jesus.
I've used I used them pike fishing one time, and at a 23, and it was just like to hand. It was a bit much, so
yeah.
I stopped using them. But I do use them on the rivers in France sometimes.
Right. Because it's funny that we went over to the Carping On show and we got to meet Terry Edmonds, who's one of the world's best casting tutors, and this guy was bringing us through a very limited run through of casting, and he was using the Nash 13-foot rods. Now we had a go, and we were all able to put they were using these balls, these weighted balls. They're like a rubber ball, but they've got a lead in them for casting at these demonstrations.
All right.
And we were able to put that about 110, 115, I think maybe slightly up to 120. The 13-footer though made a big difference in the cast. And
it does, yeah.
Here's the thing as well. He said when you take a rod and you extend it out on your arm, most of the butts come to here, right?
Yeah.
And he said that's 19 inches is the standard build of every rod on the market.
Yeah.
He said, and actually it should come all the way into your armpit.
Right.
So everyone's different. Now, when we measured up, myself and Mark was 1 inch shorter because he's smaller than me. He was 1 inch shorter, so he was 21 inches for his butt to sit into his armpit, and I was 22 inches. Mm. And what Terry Evans, because Mark went away on a tutorial over to the UK on casting with him, and what he said was, everyone's using rods that are not right, because it's to do with when you're punching the rod, if it's not
coming back into your armpit.
He says you're not getting the proper arcing and all the rest. There was a whole science to it, but it was really interesting, So Mark's just ordered a set of custom build rods from Free Spirit, as have I, the high S's. 13 foot is his preferred length for casting as well.
Definitely, yeah. I think 13 foot.
And for me, it's just one of those situations where, look, where would you need a strong, heavy rod in a lake like this? It's no chucks going over 30, 40 yards.
No.
But for me, it's a case of I have to have a set of rods that I can kind of use. I can't afford having multi-sets of rods.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to make one set of rod do everything. And I know for a fact that I do a lot of bag work, and some of the casting is 50, 60 yards that I do. On some of the lakes I do fish, there are spots where you might have to put a lead about 170 to get to the fish. I'm thinking a decoy.
Yeah.
Because now boats aren't allowed there.
I did not know.
No, they banned boats on decoy, and proper order in my mind. I think that was the ruination of that lake.
I don't know.
Captain Pug was
I think I have a boat down there still.
But I kind of need a set of rods that are going to be able to do pretty much everything I need them to do, and even on a small water like this, having that extra length probably not going to help you any, but certainly having a more a stiffer rod when you're punching out bags into a wind is certainly going to help you a little bit, because I've noticed that I have the 12-foot Century 12-foot 3.5 pound NGs, and I find casting them is a bitch, especially if you've got like a big PVA bag, a 3-ounce lead in it. It's just over gunning the rod, even at 3.5, because they're not a casting rod, they're a player's rod.
Yeah.
I find that when you're punching it, it wobbles like that as you punch through, and it can throw your lead 5 feet either way rather than straight. I'm finding
possibly,
it difficult to actually be accurate with them. You know, now, yeah, the secret there would be to go down in lead size to a smaller lead in the PVA bag, so you're not overgunning the rod and you're not having that that wobble.
Possibly, yeah.
Now maybe it's just my rods are so old, because I hate to tell you, yours are 10 years old.
Yeah.
Mine are slightly more.
Yeah, but
And mine are the older version. You have the nice stainless reel seat on one of them.
Yeah, one of them, yeah.
Although I never understood why they did that. That's just hideous.
No. I got them ones second hand, so they were on it.
Melbourne, was it?
Melbourne, yeah.
There was a character and a half. So reels, so that's the rods. Reels, what reels are you?
Oh, Shimano long casts every time.
Why?
They're just a workhorse. You pick them up, you look at them, you know they're going to last. Some of them I've had 10 years now. They see about 300 nights a year. Do the maths on that. I don't think, for the price you're not going to get a reel that comes anywhere near that for that quality, that durability.
No. See, there's two camps. There's the Daiwa camp and then there's the Shimano camp. And I have been a Daiwa user. I mean, I've always been a Shimano user, and then I moved over to the Daiwas. I have the Infinity BRs, which again, I think they're like that. They're a workhorse reel. They're a kind of a big pit reel, but they're not. And they're a real grunt reel. I mean, they just keep going, and I've had mine as long as I've had my rods now, and they just don't let me down. And I noticed Big D over across the other side of the lake, he has them as well, and he raves about them as much as I do. But here's the thing, Terry Edmonds over in the UK again, this guy is a tournament caster, and he rates the Shimano reels over the Daiwa reels on the design of the spool. And he said, you know, all of this thing, because I mean, there's been a whole sort of influx of these, like the Beziers and these super light reels, and the obviously the Technium magnesium bodied reels. He said, these ultralight reels just are not needed. The reason being because he said it's to do with the arc of the reel, the actual movement. Weight means nothing, and it has no bearing on your casting ability.
No.
So, like, do you really need to be spending 900 quid on a reel?
No, I really. When you think of how many long casts you can buy for that money, no, I couldn't justify it.
But he rates the Shimano spools as being the very best in design, whatever it is about them. And Mark was on this casting tuition with him over in the UK for the day, and there was a guy who showed up with a Bezier reel and a high essive, and he said the minute he started to thump the rod, you could actually hear the line coming off the spool, like really making a big noise.
Yeah.
Whereas the Shimano reels, just you'd heard nothing. And he said that was the trait of the Beziers, that they
the line was catching.
Yeah, it just isn't as good as the Shimano have it perfect. And there is a big swing back now to Shimano reels from, you know, guys who are looking to do some big chucks, you know.
Yeah.
But you rate the long cast as being an all-round good reel.
Yeah, I can't see myself. Now they've stopped doing that model and they've come out with a new model, and I think they will be the next ones I buy. I can't see myself going to any other reel. I just don't think any. When I look at the Daiwas, and the Daiwas or the Infinities are twice the price of them, and I just think, would they outlast two long casts?
Line. What do you use line-wise?
I try to use with France and with zebra mussels getting more and more established in Ireland. I think the thicker lines are a bit more abrasive resistance. A lot of my work is dropped with the boat anyway, so I'm not too worried about casting, although I do keep a spare spool for each reel, one for braid, one for sort of 18-20 pound mono for pike fishing and anywhere with the zebras or Asian clams or anything like that, and then I'll keep a lighter set, sort of 12 to 15 pound line if I'm in a situation where I know it's snag free and I've got to do a big chuck, like the lock in Cork where no boats are allowed. Right,
now say here, this is a weedy lake, there are snags, you're in with your 18 or 20 pound line.
Yeah, I did have
0.4, is it?
It's 0.40, I think.
Yeah.
It's
and what's the
bully.
make of it?
Nash bully.
And how do you find it?
Very good, very strong. Okay, it's quite thick and not good for casting, but as I said, I have lighter lines for casting.
And it sinks like a bullet, doesn't it?
It sinks quite well, yeah.
And have you used any other lines like quarter subline or?
No, I haven't used any of the Corla lines. I generally, once I find something that's good that works for me, I generally don't move away from it.
Yeah.
What's the point? If it's not broken, don't fix it.
I'm using the 16-pound Pro Clear by Terry Eustace, the big game stuff. And that was born from a mate of mine in the UK, Rob Coleman. You know Rob.
Yeah.
Rob put me onto it and said, look, this is a cracking line. Now, I would agree it is a great casting line. I'm not so sure about its ability to stand up to too much abuse. I've had a couple of, hiccups with it where I've now doubts. So I'm going to have to change. Now, I, up to that point, was a Fox Soft Steel user. Love Fox Soft Steel.
Yeah, I've one spool of Fox Soft Steel actually in the 20 something, and it's actually been really good. But below that, lower strains, no, we didn't have good.
No?
No, the
See,
15s and 12.
I used 15 and 12 on decoy for years, and I never, ever, it was like tow rope, I never lost fish because of the line.
I will say I have one spool of Fox Soft Steel. I have it on for 3 seasons.
Yeah.
And it's actually, I don't do that with any other line, but that one is just still good. It's still strong.
Yeah, yeah. Now, slack bobbins and slack lines to tight lines and tight bobbins. Have you any preference? I know you're slack lining here because you're right margin fishing, so you have to.
Yeah, well, this rod here is literally under the rod tip, so I don't put any bobbin on that, because as soon as that fish moves, I'll get an indication. Depending, I won't fish a slack line over about 20-25 metres, 30 will limit. I don't like them to be able to move around too much. I've seen situations where I was working in Burgoy and people would wake up in the morning and the fish would be in the tree behind them and they wouldn't have got a beep. And I've seen other people, they've woke up and the fish has gone around the marker and done them, and they didn't even get an indication. So I won't fish slack lines over, on long distances. Obviously, if you're fishing to snags or close to snags, I'll fish a tight line. I want an indication quick. I don't want that fish to get in there before I can, or before I get an indication. I don't want it to be all over before it begins. Bobbins. Sometimes you put the bobbin on, puts a bit of tension. It's a hard one there. It's up to personal preferences, I think, after that.
Now, so we've talked about rods, we've talked about reels, we've talked about buzzers. Line is covered. Bank sticks, I don't think we need to do that. I mean, bank sticks are bank sticks.
Well, yeah, I would advise people to spend a few quid on the bank stick.
What are you using?
I've got the solar bank sticks there. I have off my Globetrotter. Again, they're 10, 12 years old.
Yeah.
They've been bashed into rocks. Where I fish over in the west of Ireland, it's just rocks. You've got to find a crevice, rubber mallet in. I have them years. Okay, you're going to spend money on them, but it's worth it. You buy cheap, you buy twice. You're going to keep buying. Lesser bank sticks would fall apart under the rock fishing I do over the west, and I really do think it's worth people's while spending the money on a good bank stick.
Now, behind us, this beautiful faded green Bivvy is a what?
It is a Nash 2-man Titan.
Nash 2-man Titan.
Yeah.
Now,
it's a year old.
It's only a year old?
Yeah.
By Chinese. No, only messing. Look, how do you rate it?
It's a very good design of Bivvy, apart from a couple of flaws. This situation is not good. The front, they've snapped on me recently. I had an old 2-man Titan years ago, and this system wasn't great. And I was hoping when I got the new Bivvy there a few years ago, or last year, that they would have a much better system on it. It's not. It's worse.
Why this particular system though? I mean, when you look at all the different bivvies on the market, I mean, you've got, Tracker, you've got Aqua, which have all those kind of sort of the armadillo style,
yeah,
the pram hood style bivvies, which seem to be so popular. They're everywhere, and they're good bivvies. I mean, I have the Aqua one down below on the next swim, and it's
I've got to give you an answer here. You're probably not going to expect. I got fed up looking at the Aqua. I just wanted something different.
I dig that. No, I think it's a good answer.
I had three. I usually get about 3 to 3.5 years out of an armadillo, and I had 3 of them in a row, and I just wanted something different.
See, I used
And I will say I will be going back to the
Will you?
Armo. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've just ordered a tracker Cayman, and yeah, I will be going back to the pram style.
Why tracker as opposed to an aqua?
No, either. Aqua actually probably better. I just ordered a Cayman because I just wanted something a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
With my pike fishing, I like to move every day. This Bivvy is not great for it because it's a bit big and gangly. Once you get it up, it's fine.
Yeah.
But when you're dealing with the winds in the west of
What
Ireland,
about the block on this? You know, the block where the arms come out of? Because I actually had, years ago, I had a Titan, 1 man or 2 man, it was 2 man I think it was. And it broke my heart because I'd be driving, 160 miles to Cork and go to put it up, and I was as careful as anything, and the whole block would just snap. And it happened to me 3 times on the trot, and I just sent it back and got my money back eventually with Nash.
Now, yeah, I haven't had any problems with the spreader block on that one.
I know it's redesigned now. They use stainless in the pins, and
yeah,
it wasn't back in the day.
Yeah, could you imagine that with some sort of system like the Pioneer, like a stainless steel system?
Yeah.
I mean, they could make these absolutely bulletproof.
They just don't put the money into it. Nash
The
sold
material,
out to,
the material
PLC.
is actually quite good on it. All that's good. It's just
It fades though, doesn't it?
it fades. It's going to fade, isn't it? Every Bivvy fades.
Well, I've had mine out, mind you. I'm not fishing as much as you, so I can't really say mine's.
I mean, even with the aquas, I'd use them for a while, and then you'd roll down the door like this, and you'd see the difference in colour.
Yeah.
The aquas are the same. They all fade. I wouldn't be too worried about it. Sure, what's wrong with fading?
No.
Still green, isn't it?
Yeah. It makes you stand out. Mind you, one of the lads was Pioneer by Aqua, and his is the same colour as that. It's faded completely. That's Darren over there now.
Yeah, so John on the bailiff swim, that's his overwrap, that's an aqua, that's similar.
Yeah.
They will all fade though.
It depends on how much you're using, I suppose.
Basically, it's just sunlight, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So let's get into rig components now. What's your preferred lead weight?
I like a heavier lead. I like it's apart from the point of the hook, the next contact the fish is going to have is your lead, and as you're cramming to get out of your bed, that lead is going to do its job before you are.
And you always use tubing, don't you?
Yeah, always tubing. Yeah.
Why?
Well, it's cheap. It's effective. I think it's with
Why is it effective though?
Well,
because there's been a move away from tubing over the last few years. In fact, I don't use any tubing anymore.
What I do,
but I do use leader sections which act like a tubing because they're much thicker and they're soft and they won't pull up scales.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can use weighted tubing, so that obviously keeps it pinned down. People have this thing in their head about lead core pinning things down, and then you'll come up to them and they'll be fishing 20 yards out with a bend in the rod and expecting that lead. It's not a lead pipe. It's lead tubing. Yeah, you've got where am I going with this now? I've lost my train of thought. Tubing. Yeah, I'll use the Corda lead clips system. I like that because a couple of things can happen. The fish can drop the lead, the swivel can pop, and with the tubing, the fish can move off and the line can pass through, and you can get rid of everything.
Yeah.
Whereas with some of these leaders, lead cord leaders, any of these safe zone leaders, any of this sort of stuff, the mono in that, the inner in that is stronger than the main line you're going to be using. So it's not going to snap.
Yeah.
Your main line's going to snap, hopefully at the knot. But then the fish is left trailing.
Yeah.
He's definitely left trailing the tubing. And with some lead cores, it can wrap around a branch or stick or anything like that. But with the tubing, hopefully everything is gone.
Yeah. And so heavy lead, I mean, I've seen Dan's rig and it's that basic. It's a bit of tubing, about 12 inches long. It's a lead clip, a 3-ounce lead, and a hook length. Now the hook length material you're using now is?
A Croyston, snakebite or mantis, and I really don't see any reason to change that.
And it's the black one, isn't it?
Well, I use all different ones, but yeah, the black one I'm using at the minute, yeah.
And you seem to rate it.
I've tried, all these other companies have tried, but none of them have got it close to mantis or snakebite.
In what way?
The plastic on them starts to crinkle, the strength is just not there. I mean, I've landed 90-pound cats on 25-pound Croyston, the snakebite, no problem. I've done it a good few times.
See, and that's the whole confidence thing, is once you know that each component of your rig is that well constructed, you just don't have any fears, do you?
No. Plus, we're working on Burgoy for 5 years. I had the unique thing, we did different customers there, German, Austrian, Belgians, Irish, English, French, and they all have different rig materials from different companies. And over the years, I've seen a good few of them snap. Now, I think in the last 2 or 3 years, I've had one snap with mantis, and with the amount of fishing I do, that's acceptable. I wouldn't bother with anything else.
Right.
Now, you're going to pay a few more quid for it, but it's worth it.
I have no problem with that. Hooks. What's your favourite pattern, size?
The old Nash Fangs, Hutchie Precisions, that sort of. Incisors, some owners, the fly liners, I think, from owner.
Have you looked at any of the new kids on the block, like the Fox new range, the Ace hooks?
I haven't looked at the Ace hooks. At the risk of getting myself shot here, I don't rate cord or Fox hooks. I've seen them bend out too many times.
Really?
Yep. Every time when I was bailiffing on Burgoy, I'd walk around in the morning and you talk to people and they'd say, I had a hook bend out last night, and you just go, Fox or Corda, and it'd be one or the other.
Right. That's interesting, because I've used Fox hooks and they've never let me down.
Again, it's down to the size of fish you're fishing for.
Yeah.
If you're fishing for a roach, you're going to use. If you're fishing for a bigger fish, a tench, you're going to use a different size hook. And people they fish at home, and like here, 7s, 8s, 6s are fine. You bring that to France and you try and pull a 50-pound fish in or 60-pound fish in on I just don't think you're holding enough flesh.
No.
And the fish makes it.
And it puts then the pressure on it because it's not in deep enough.
Yeah.
It puts the pressure on the hook and it folds.
You get a fish close, he sticks his head out of the water, he throws it. Just the pure weight of a 50, 60-pound fish, I think.
Yeah.
is just going to pull a small hook.
But for Irish fishing, say, or English fishing, Fox and Corda probably are okay.
Probably, yeah. But now, if you went up in size, if you went up to a size 4 or 2 in Corda or Fox, they might be. But what I seen was
a lot hooks are troublesome.
Yeah, a lot of them bending out.
Because I've started using the Ace hooks, and I have to say, I'm ever so impressed with the sharpness of them. And for me, this is the thing that a lot of anglers are missing. And I noticed you took in a rig, and the first thing I looked at, which you didn't see me do, was I thumbed your point to see what it was like, and it was blunt.
Probably a bit lazy with that rig.
No, when I say blunt, I'm talking blunt in my terms, not yours. Now that will catch fish, but every time I get a hook, I hone it. I hone it right down, so it's like a needle. Because I actually think it goes in far faster, far quicker. And as you can see, he's had a 27 and I've had nothing, so it's obviously working well for me. But in general.
I find that I did go out and buy a hook sharpener one time, but I find if you have to start messing around with hook sharpeners, I think the hook has had it. I think if you file them down too much and you get them nice and skinny, the first rock you hit or first anything you touch, it's going to go over.
Stinking on you.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And then you're back there.
I noticed though that all the time you think with your French head.
Yeah.
Rather than your Irish head.
Well, in fact, I haven't really fished in Ireland really for carp for 5-6 years now. It's only since
You've done more in this year than most of us will do in 10 years.
Yeah.
You do realise that?
Yeah.
So your argument, sir, is null and void. So basically your answer, I mean, I used to love the Terry Eustace penetrator hooks, pattern 2 it was. And they, again, they were like a bit of a meat hook, even in size 6, but they just wouldn't let you down. And they were super sharp, wouldn't let you down. And I've been struggling, since they've disappeared off the market, I've been struggling to find a hook that I like. And so far, The ace hooks seem to be ticking all my boxes at the moment. They're super sharp out of the box that you don't need to file them.
Yeah.
They're as sharp as anything I can file, which that's impressive in my book.
Right.
The metal gauge on them is really thick. The dog's all here now. The gauging of the metal is very thick as well, and in general, I find them a superb hook. You know. So that's it. We've been through everything there.
Pretty much, yeah.
From the top of the rod, or the bottom of the rod, right top, and then out. So this has been Oddies Angling TV. We're in session, as I said, with Daniel O'Kelly from 66Wild Fishing. If you needed some guided fishing, check them out on Facebook. All the links are in the description below. And we'll see you in the next video. You can check out the extensive sticky baits range at mainirishangling.com.